Hi guys, we're halfway done with the month of April, and that means we're also about halfway done with our PMDD awareness campaign. We're also about halfway to our goal of $500. Donate today. And remember, you are loved, you are wanted, and you got this. Now on with the video.
How'd you track me down?
And then you sent me driving directions to your house.
And you just had to come and beg my forgiveness and tell me how much you appreciate me.
Kitty, does Stan hate Roger? And isn't it true that teacher says that every time a bell rings, an oppressive autocracy gets freedom? Let me get to the video, Catherine, and I don't know. Hi, I'm Kitty Monk, and I'm here to talk to you about American Dad. Or more specifically, Stan and Roger, and their relationship. Ooh. Not like that, you pervs.
Roger! Roger, can you hear me? Damn it, Roger!
Even if that's like my favorite Stan and Roger moment, like Stan is so used to Roger doing this and violating him that he treats it the same way as Roger's about to stick a fork in the light socket. Like, damn it, Roger, he did it again! Yes, I know Roger has come on to Stan a few times, but no, not like that. We're not answering it in that case. We all know that Roger and Franny do have better chemistry, but that's besides the point. With American Dad, the main theme is about family, and at the start of the show, Roger was arguably the only Smith who wasn't blood related, besides Klaus, but they treated Klaus more like an obnoxious glorified pet, so I am fine with making this statement.
What seems to be the problem?
Well, I got in an argument with our dog. He expelled a large amount of xenoplasm and then he died. Am I a monster for not feeling anything?
Stan had complex relationships with everybody, but Roger, it's probably the most complex next to him and Haley. Does he even like Roger, or does he just feel duty-bound to keep him around? Well, let's discuss. Because honestly, I feel like the show majorly developed the friendship between these two, in a good way, kind of like Jeff and Haley, and very unintentionally. Like, you might think it's just a couple of random episodes, but if you go back and watch, it's like a cute little storyline. So, okay, why does Roger live with Stan? Well, that's a good question. Several years prior to the pilot, Roger was being held captive at Area 51 for reasons. I guess Bullock and his daddy finally caught up to him, and Stan was there for reasons. Reasons I don't think they ever say, unlike Jess's cancer. Sorry guys, that video was like majorly rushed. But I've always wondered what Stan was even doing at Area 51 in the first place, especially since Stan was shown living in Langley Falls during AT, the Abusive Terrestrial, around the same time when he, I guess, adopted Roger or let him move in. So was this like a business trip or something? Honestly, I would love a whole episode about this. Like maybe Stan had a horrible life and then Roger was like his manic pixie dream girl or something. But Roger somehow escaped captivity and he and Stan got cornered in the laundry room.
You're the alien? Well, they said you'd be bigger, and with claws.
Oh, I've got claws. Look how fat you are. See? Kitty can scratch.
Meow. I mean, the other guards wanted to see what the fuss was about, so they threw grenades into the room, because clearly you do that with a superior specimen like Roger. Although honestly, Roger has all these powers, so I could see them being cautious. But Stan got knocked out, so Roger saved Stan's life by throwing the both of them down the laundry chute.
You saved my life. How can I ever repay you?
You got TiVo?
They survived, and feeling like he owed Roger a life debt, Stan allowed him to live with the family, giving Roger to Steve as a birthday present to truly make it official, which is kinda cute. I like how all of them, except for Stan and Steve, like, accepted Roger. Like, Steve was like, "Aw." So yes, at the start of the show, Roger does technically live with the Smiths out of obligation. It's kinda like Ted from the Ted Show. He doesn't have his personas yet, since the show had yet to develop that idea, and Roger probably figured he got more mileage pretending he was a hapless alien, rather than a dude who could probably just go wherever he wanted at any time. So he was probably like, "Oh, I can't leave the house, Stan." Just saying, I always do wonder how the show is going to handwave this massive retcon, but I just like to tell myself Roger wanted to milk being a lazy bum for as long as possible, and then once he was like, "Oh wait, I actually have to go outside," or "Oh wait, I'm actually bored now," he just started doing the personas. But as we all know, Stan was at first a stereotypical stereotype, so Roger was essentially trapped in the attic and only really able to go to the kitchen table or the couch to watch game shows, with nothing to do but sit in his room watching bad daytime TV and drinking wine like a fish, like Klaus. However, despite scenes like this, we do get little tiny glimmers that Stan does value Roger to at least some degree. Kinda like a pet, like they said in Roger Codger. In the pilot, for example, he is comfortable confiding in him his feelings about Steve, and it's Roger who says that Stan needs to be realistic.
I didn't have this problem getting girls when I was his age.
Little observation, Stan. Steve isn't like you. You're a big, powerful guy. Women are attracted to power, and, well, Steve just doesn't have any.
Then we get episodes like Roger Codger, which spell out in no certain detail that even if Stan doesn't want to admit it, deep down he does love Roger, and he couldn't imagine a family or a future without him in it. Stan is gunning for a promotion against Duper, and to bribe/entice Bullock, because this was before Bullock, I don't know, let strippers shoot him with a BB gun, I guess? Stan invites him over for dinner, rather than out to a furry convention, cause vroom vroom. Of course, Roger can't possibly be present, and they can't just hand-wave him yet, what with being an alien that the government is trying to capture and dissect and all, so he insists that Roger stay upstairs in the attic until Bullock goes away.
Oh, for crying out loud, can't you get your own?
Love to, but you won't let me leave the house. So unless you're gonna open a Circle K in the dining room, looks like we're ointment buddies.
Which is pretty reasonable, I'd argue. Maybe just give him some dinner and a bottle of wine, that'd be good. Plus, it is better than being in the cupboard. Plus, Roger is also going through some stuff, since he keeps secreting skin slime. Alliteration. Which he doesn't do in the later seasons, not really.
Up in your attic, move! Now you're doing this?
Yeah, I haven't been feeling so great. Once it dries, it'll chip right off.
Go!
But Roger insists that Stan get him some more liquor, and when Stan forgets, because he's busy and his boss is there and everything, he goes down himself.
Pardon me, I think I hear my wife's pie burning. That's my boss out there. Have you lost your mind?
What? No! Roger, you're gonna ruin this whole thing. Stan tries to hide Roger to little avail and makes himself look like a fool in front of Bullock. Angered that this whole dinner probably went horribly, even though I feel like Bullock was probably like, yay, dinner and a show, Stan tears into Roger.
We're the ones risking our necks here. Do you know what would happen to us if the government found out we were hiding an alien? Oh, but he doesn't care. No, he just lays around the house inhaling groceries and pumping out pudding.
Which, again, I know Stan is only really saying this because he's pissed, but he kinda has a point. Stan, as far as he knows, could have something terrible happen to his family, or to him, or to Roger if he gets discovered. Like in the pilot, he said that they could have their memories erased and Roger would be killed. In this episode, they could easily all be taken into custody and killed. Like, who knows?
It's not my fault I don't feel well.
It's always something with you. You've been nothing but a burden.
Do I agree with him saying, like, oh, our lives would be better without you? No, I just do think he said it out of anger. But I do think somebody should have told Roger to be more careful. And considering episodes like Franny 911, it literally had to be Stan, because that's the only dude who would get the message across. Instead, Roger takes his words to heart literally and dies.
Roger, you okay?
Albeit, I think you know that Roger doesn't really die. His body basically just went into fight or flight mode, and it chose fawn over fight or flight, which I do all the time, I understand Roger. But since Roger is an alien, his version of fawn is basically to go into a coma for a few days. And since the Smiths don't really know that, because, he has a bunch of alien powers, they assume he's dead. And that means, well, they have precautions in place for such a scenario, where Stan just goes to buy food and then throws Roger in a dumpster.
Hib. Not the largest, the one right under that.
That would be the medium?
Oh, how undignified. Like, bury him in the backyard, why don't you? And we discover that Stan basically takes the yellow diamond path when it comes to grief, where he does care, and he really does want to grieve, but because of toxic masculinity, especially the toxic masculinity of his workforce, he doesn't want to show people he cares because then he'll be made fun of for it.
Well, I guess I feel kind of sad.
And do you know why?
Because I miss him?
No, because you're a lady!
So he ends up repressing his grief or trying to remove any trace that reminds him of Roger, saying like, oh, we need to hide his existence. That way he can move on. Which he does make a good point, they need to hide his existence, it's just that, he's only really doing it so he doesn't have to, like, be seen crying or something.
What? Why can't we just hide that stuff?
It's too risky. No one can ever know Roger was here.
Don't you have any feelings?
Son, feelings are what women have.
Even if I'd argue the only way you can truly move on is being honest about how bad it feels. Wow, Steven Universe knows what it's talking about. I use this quote myself a lot. But can you really blame Stan when he does go to a therapy session with the CIA, aka one of the few places where you can be intimate and spill your secrets without anybody finding out 98% of the time? And pretty much his whole office finds out.
Oh yeah, I'm sensitive.
I am not a lady.
Wait, Stan, you forgot your purse.
Oh, I swear I'd lose my own head if Hey, I don't have a purse!
Like the one time he's vulnerable. No wonder he doesn't like to admit when he has problems. When Stan discovers Roger is alive, and Roger says, albeit as a drunken joke, that he's going to tell the CIA that Stan and his family were harboring him, and the CIA has also discovered Roger is alive, and they're planning on capturing him.
Somebody take Smith's coffee.
Well, Stan decides to kill him for reals this time. For reals. He corners Roger in the Smithsonian, and despite the other Smiths coming to his aid and having a super cute reunion, like it's really adorbs, Roger still decides to let Stan do the deed. Not like that, just kill him, if it means his family can be safe. But Stan can't bear to go through with it.
He's crying.
I'm not a lady!
Stan, having feelings doesn't make you a lady. It makes you human.
But I thought Steve never saw you cry before. Oh my god, I hate that episode so much. That and 42-year-old virgin. Like, I have peripheral vision. I can see episodes. I'm pretty sure, like, the first time I watched that episode, this was before I became super critical as a critic, even I was like, but you have, Stan. You have killed people. So Stan compromises by giving the CIA Roger's racist old lady buddy, Gertie. Oh my god, I just got that. Was her name supposed to be like the kid from E.T.? Because they had a lot of E.T. references in the earlier seasons. I really wish they brought these back. And Roger is welcomed home. So okay, we have established that even if Stan doesn't want to admit it, he does love Roger, in a platonic way. As much as somebody like him can love another person who isn't Franny or the kids or his mother without it being weird. And season 2 firmly sees their friendship be established through a plethora of episodes, like the one where they switch places and Roger has to admit that it sucks being a patriarch and Stan kinda has a right to be a hard ass.
I know this doesn't really matter now, but you win.
Huh?
You're a better man of the house than I am. I don't know how you manage to do everything you do, but this family's lucky to have you.
And Stan rewards him for it by getting his Judas co-worker arrested on trumped-up charges, which actually are real charges, like...
These people are insane. I'm innocent.
That's the man who broke into my home and punched me. Right before he locked all those poor monkeys in our basement.
But my absolute favorite between these two is Roger and Me. Oh my god, I just got that title. Oh my god. Episode, that is a horrible joke and I applaud you for making it. Like, I just thought it was Roger and Me, like, yay, it's Roger and me. Not, oh no, Roger's in me. Okay, so I gotta be serious now, let's go. Stan is going to a bachelor party in Atlantic City for his buddy Bobo.
You got a best buddy? Can I be your second best buddy?
Let's see, how do I hang an air freshener on this? You are a total waste of space. I'm going to my best friend Bobo Peterson's bachelor party in Atlantic City.
Oh my god, you're going to AC for a bachelor party? That's like the worst place for a bachelor party. Like, I know, I'm from Jersey, and I should be gushing like, oh my goodness, Atlantic City, all the time. They have Lucy the elephant. But I'm sorry, going to Vegas has spoiled me. Luxor itself could fit like 5 Atlantic cities. And they have like nothing to do there. It's just gambling and drinking. That gets boring after like an hour. And also a beach, but eh. Stan is excited to go, and Roger wants to tag along, but Stan won't go for it, since Bobo is his best friend, so much so that he's never mentioned him until this episode. And, well...
Oh god, is little Roger gonna cry? Because if you are, I'll put on some Edie Brickell and join you.
Weirdly, I feel like Roger would be the perfect party animal in this case, but you could also bring up how Roger is an alien, and that would cramp your style more than not knowing the secret cool guy handshake, because I'm waiting. Old man. Just saying. Because Franny is a little apprehensive about Stan going, Roger requests to tag along and be his little ball and chain. Oh, a ball and chain, Roger. I mean, which you and I both know Stan is not gonna go for. Don't worry, Roger has his ways.
Surprise! Look in your heart and die out here in the woods.
What the hell are you talking about?
It's from my favorite movie, Miller's Crossing.
Keep this in mind going forward. But Stan does allow Roger to accompany him to the bachelor party, and we discover that, yeah, Stan is not Bobo's best friend. At least, not anymore. Even Bobo points out that Stan basically got invited by mistake. Like, he didn't want Stan around anymore.
What do you mean? I'm here for my best friend's bachelor party. I got your evite.
Oh, my secretary must have accidentally sent that.
Accidentally sent? Get up!
Which gives me questions about what their relationship was like back in college, if at all. Or if it's like the mental gymnastics of the later seasons where Stan probably bullied Bobo, or knew him in passing or whatever, or Bobo even bullied him, but Stan could only function if he convinced himself that he and Bobo were best buddies. So Stan thinks they were friends when really he was kind of like, ha, nerd! Or if Stan just didn't read the invite completely, like maybe it wouldn't be a typical bachelor party like you'd see on TV or The Hangover, just a quiet get-together or whatever, because I could totally see any of these options being true.
Stan, this is my future father-in-law, Reverend Hideki Obayashi.
Ow.
Stan and Roger get kicked out, but Roger is able to help Stan salvage the evening by just being Roger, which honestly I think this is cool. This is like the first episode to show that Roger is a raging party boy like we see in the later seasons. Because he's always trapped in the attic, Stan really had no way of knowing it. First off, he convinces Stan to steal a limo and play tricks on the driver.
So, driver, you been doing this for a long time?
Actually, my wife and I just moved out here.
There he is.
Guys, that's a jerk move! What the hell? At least you're bonding, I guess. They also have a wild party out on the town, albeit because of the Queen song, and I can only play the footage. Even though, honestly, as somebody who has been to AC, it's basically Newark or Camden, but with casinos. Like, once you get off the boardwalk, it's basically just a normal town. You cannot do any of this crap, unfortunately, which sucks! I thought it'd be fun when I turned 21. I could do cool stuff in AC, but no, Vegas is where it's at. Oh god, here we go. And finally, we get to the infamous hot tub scene.
Totally buy this place.
But let's not just say it.
No, we're gonna do it. No, absolutely. I'll move some things around.
I'm preparing you for the scene with this clip, because trust me, it gets way worse. Oh my god. Stan and Roger have gotten thoroughly wasted, and Stan calls Roger his best buddy. Well, best friend. Albeit, Roger makes a point. They are best buddies. On Earth.
Buddies?
Are you kidding? Hey, we're best buddies.
Best, but oh my god, I need another Tecate. Hand me a Tecate.
But on Earth at the same time, you don't know if somebody is your best buddy, even if they said it. On his home planet, well... Oh god, no, here we go. There is a method.
Best buds have a ritual where they just really connect. But I mean, there's this thing that we do, and only best friends can do it, and it bonds you for life.
Wait, what? Wait, is that why he did that thing to Stan and a boy named Michael? Because honestly, I could see that happening too. According to Roger, his species has a way of cementing best buddies status, I guess you could say, okay? Which is... oh god. Which is to... how do I say this without getting demonetized?
It's kind of a probe thing.
Okay, Roger did it for me. Okay, we're going to say they probe each other. And,
In an instant, you know everything about the other person. I mean, it's like having 1,000 conversations at once.
So basically, you become like Arrow from Twilight. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Arrow is kind of crazy. He's probably probed a lot of people. Oh my god. Okay, I gotta be serious. Okay, to be fair, Roger didn't want to do it with Stan. He was just explaining what happens. Like, oh, I'm an alien. We do all this weird crap. Which is weird because later season Roger probably would reveal this was like his master plan to like entrap Stan and then probe him so he could figure out everything about his life. But Stan insists he has to do it to him at least once. And... oh no. Okay, I'll just play the clip. Okay, I get why they played it off like Roger and Stan had an affair, which I now get now that I'm older. I just wanted the time they did it because it was funny. Because when you think about it, without context, for all intents and purposes, they basically had an affair. Stan basically cheated on Francine with Roger. And Roger is his housemate, so it's going to be permanently crazy from here on. Wow, Roger has had 2 drunken slip-ups with Stan and or Francine. That's a 2-nickel situation. But I don't like nickels unless they're called Philip. But Roger wasn't lying. It was unpleasant, but... oh god, why did I say that? It was unpleasant. However, his best buddy ritual really did give him an omniscient understanding of Stan's entire life story. Like every single memory.
Totally ready. Kind of like how you were ready for sleepaway camp in 3rd grade, even though you cried in the car all the way there.
How do you know that?
Well, I know all your memories now.
Which, this isn't a complaint against the episode itself, but I wish this ability found a way to come back at least once. Like, I don't think they ever talk about it after this. Since one thing I do like about Roger in the later seasons is how they dogpile on his alien abilities or make new ones up for the plot. Like, sometimes it is kind of annoying, like, wow, Roger can just jump into books or dreams, oh, yay. But sometimes some of them are pretty unique, and I like how they did use the twist ending at the end of Jenny from the Block to say this is how he does all of his personas. He's just super fast, especially in the later episodes. When, if you think about it, he's always really been able to do this stuff. I think Roger having an ability to know everybody's life story, or maybe how to acquire skills, like maybe if his persona wants to be a doctor, he could just probe a doctor, would be hilarious. Like, Roger, how did you know how to take care of a polar bear? Oh yeah, I like probed a zookeeper one night at the bar. I guess maybe the reason they never bring it back would be it's a bit harder for them to implement this, especially in regards to how Roger is able to do this and his already massive set of abilities, but it would be a cool idea to revisit. Like, maybe he sleeps with a girl or something and he does it by accident and he's like, crap, now I know her life story. And maybe they could say something like there's a limit to it or something, like if he probes too many people he gets sick or whatever, or maybe if he probes one person and then he probes another person, when he probes the second person he forgets about the first person or whatever. Hence why this ability never really makes a comeback, or why he just forgets about it. Like, maybe after he probes the doctor at the end he forgot Stan's entire life story. Plus, probing by our standards is still bad when you think about it. It's basically assault, so maybe Roger can't probe certain people for obvious reasons. Like, he obviously can't probe minors, he obviously can't probe married people. So Roger, he loved the fact he got to bond with Stan, but once Stan sobers up, he realizes how messed up it was and how he majorly regrets it. And how Roger now gets to wear a t-shirt. Oh my god, Roger's the girl, isn't he? He's the... Oh wait, why am I saying that like that? That sounds like terrible. But yeah, Roger would be a catty lady in this scenario.
Don't hang up! I will not be ignored, Stan! I'll come down there! Oh yeah, I'll come down there and I will make such a scene!
Roger doesn't get why Stan is panicking and just thinks that he's being a big fuddy-duddy. And Roger basically becomes the other woman.
Remember, I'm your buddy.
Are you? 'Cause you're not acting like it!
Favorite Roger moment hands down, I'm sorry. Like, you understand, nobody ever mentions this, which just makes it funnier to me. Like, are you? Because you're not acting like it. Like, be happy this is early season Roger, because when he thought Richard was being a bad boyfriend to him, his first instinct was to assassinate him. I could honestly see Roger, like, killing all the Smiths except for Stan if this were, like, a later season episode. Like, now it's just you and me, Stanny. Like, be glad he's just being whiny and annoying. Francine starts to catch on because she has peripheral vision.
No.
Roger, look at me! What happened in Atlantic City?
Why don't you ask your husband?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Stan tells Roger he can't keep up the pretense any longer and he will literally pay him tons of monies to go away.
You pushed me into this. I told you it would ruin our friendship, but you said, no, let's go, do it to me, so I gave myself to you.
Yeah, that's not what happened, Roger. You offered to do it, Stan agreed, y'all are both in the wrong, and with context it sounds even weirder, but Roger reveals why he was so insistent on this fatal attraction metaphor.
'Cause you were my first!
I had no idea.
I wanted a buddy.
So we're just gonna remove the metaphor completely and outright say that Roger's basically a virgin? Okay then, I guess Roger is a virgin by his species standards. Wow, he didn't even probe the Emperor! That's like insane! Maybe he really was hated by his species. In the process of their argument, they accidentally run over Francine and cause her brain to detach from the brainstem or whatever, I don't know, something like she's gonna die basically. She can live and possibly regain functionality with some therapy, but it will require a really expensive surgery they must pay for out of pocket.
You can reattach your brain, but it's an experimental procedure your insurance won't cover.
That's my wife. I don't care how much it is, I'll pay it.
It's $178,000.
What if I don't need her to talk?
I want to make an insurance joke, but I don't think I should. So I will say that that surgery probably cost like 10 times more in 2025. Stan tries to raise the money by holding a garage sale for $178,000.
How much for the porcelain poodles?
$178,000.
I may be back.
You have better luck selling the kids, like that Great Depression lady. Remember that lady sold like 4 of her kids and they all got separated in the neighborhood and they met up like 20 years later? But Roger gets the idea to go on a game show called Best Buddies, which tests how well you know your bestie. Think about it like that one episode of the Looney Tunes show where Daffy and Bugs went on with the Gophers, and since Stan probed Roger, he's able to answer the questions 100% correctly. But supposedly the reverse isn't true, and honestly we know Stan ain't like probing Roger. Which gives me questions as to what would have happened if Stan did try that. Like, would nothing happen because he's not an alien? And I have a video to review. Okay, so Stan fails. But there is one potential question he might just get right considering Chekhov's gun. What is Roger's favorite movie?
I have no idea.
It's Miller's Crossing, Stan. Remember, it's Miller's Crossing. Don't let him die out in the woods.
Look in your heart, Stan.
Oh, I've got it.
Come on, Stan. I have faith in you. Just say it. Miller's Crossing.
White chicks.
Christ on a stick, Stan. It was Miller's Crossing. Miller's Crossing. I don't know that movie, but I remember Chekhov's guns. What the hey? This dude was inside of you, literally. He's your best buddy, and you can't even remember his favorite movie. What the hey? Granted, Roger kind of reminds me of me, so I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't truly have a favorite movie, or if that was his favorite movie, but like in the moment and then it changed. I don't know. I just wonder why Stan thought it was white chicks. Thankfully, they are able to revive Francine via Roger probing the doctor, but yeah, I think this episode was a real friendship solidifier for Stan and Roger. Literally! Because from this point forward, while Roger won't admit it, he is more willing to take Stan's advice and listen to him, and Stan is a bit more open to letting Roger do what he wants, albeit if Roger does mess up, he will say something and he will beat his ass. Office Spaceman is a good example of this. Roger starts sending candid pics of himself to a newspaper. Strangely, the CIA believes that people still read newspapers and they apprehend Roger, but not as Roger, under his persona of Parker Peters, photographer, and they tell him to use his resources to capture the alien. Because this is before AI, and because Roger obviously can't just say like, oh, he made it up or he's wearing a suit or something, he decides to just try to go to not seem suspicious. But really, you couldn't just like lie and say that? I mean, it's a newspaper and there's hoaxes all the time for cryptozoology and all that crap. Just say it's like Nessie, where it's not real, or it's like paper mache. Throughout this whole thing, Stan keeps trying to tell Roger to be more careful, like stop sending pics of himself, or just go hide in the attic until the alien thing passes, but Roger consistently refuses to listen. For instance, he does go to the office, and he puts a picture of the Smiths on his desk.
Give me that! Are you crazy?
Ow, you're gripping.
You have to take this seriously.
Roger, you're not supposed to know them or act like you know them. Or when he finds out that the CIA have an all-expense-paid expense account for him because he now has every resource to capture the alien, he decides to milk it for all it's worth by basically having a tax-free vacation.
No need, Peters. We're performing the autopsy now. Agent Smith will die a horrible, painful death, but it's worth it to finally nail this bastard.
So thanks to Roger's lies and machinations, because he wants to prove he's real by giving them some slime, the CIA believes that the alien is inside of Stan. Oh no, they have no idea. Oh my god. And they want to dissect Stan in order to capture it. Roger has to admit he screwed up. Yeah, no duh. Kinda like this moment though.
You're gonna die.
What?
You're right, I screwed up. They're gonna cut you open.
But thankfully, Stan says he has a way to make sure Roger lives, and it involves getting naked.
Now walk out that door.
What? I'm an alien, Stan, for reals. They'll kill me.
Roger, I promise you'll get away. Listen to me for once and do it.
Kitty, what is with you this video? Shut up, Catherine. But by doing so, he would be admitting that he's an alien. He would be showing them he's an alien. He would be captured. Yeah, but that's the point, kind of. Like, he's supposed to reveal himself. Just watch the episode, goddamn you. But just watch this clip then, okay?
There's your alien men.
What? You said I'd get away! You sold me out! I trusted you!
I don't know what he's talking about.
So Stan essentially tells the CIA that Roger is an alien and they will dissect him instead. Oh, Staniel, what the hey? But when the time comes for Staniel to euthanize Roger, well...
Huh. He reversed the gas.
Huh, that's some quick, clever thinking. And wow, maybe it's good he listens to Stan every once in a while or he'd be frickin' dead. But yes, Stan and Roger to me are best friends. That's not a hyperbole. I really do believe that deep down, Stan considers Roger his best friend. They're the bestest friends in the show. I mean, I guess Steve and Roger are the ultimate best friends since Steve has outright said that he considers Roger his best friend, but I consider them more like brothers, especially that episode from the TBS era where it turns out they were like body doubles or whatever when they were kids. Steve and Roger kind of remind me of like Hank and Dale or like Hank and Con, where they are close and they're best friends, but for one reason or another, maybe like societal pressure, maybe because they get on each other's nerves, they just won't admit it. Because honestly, the one time that Stan did admit Roger was his best friend, disasters happened. In Marlowe Down Dirty Shame, Stan and Roger get trapped in an elevator together. The hellish ordeal, which I've been through a couple of times, bonds them.
We're trapped in this elevator! We're gonna die in here!
Stan, I have you.
Honestly, I hate that creepy back service elevator at the mall near where I live. Like, I always feel like I'm trapped there and it's just going really, really slow. Like, my big fear is, what if I get stuck? Oh my god, there's no Wi-Fi in here and it's like an old elevator, so nobody's gonna hear me. I feel your pain. But anyways, the experience bonds Stan and Roger, and they officially become best friends. For reals! Aww! They even cement their friendship with those best friend necklaces that you get at Claire's.
Is this anything like what you're talking about?
This is exactly what we're talking about.
Stan, will you put mine on?
Huh, wonder if they still sell those. Middle school me loved them. Francine wants to go wine tasting that weekend, but Stan doesn't. Well, I mean, he does come up later, but I guess maybe, like, I don't know, just watch the episode. So he sends Roger to essentially chaperone Francine to the wine tasting trip. That way she doesn't have to go alone.
Good looking out, buddy. High five. Yeah!
Really, Stan? Remember the last time you had Roger chaperone you somewhere? What happened? Like, I get he's your best friend and now you trust him a bit more, but Roger doesn't exactly have the tolerance I envy. Okay, your funeral. Roger and Francine hang out and they have a lot of fun together, because honestly, they are good friends outside of Stan. But they each get super wasted because they never heard of a spit bucket. That spit bucket was invented by the devil! And Roger kisses Francine.
Roger!
What?
God! Why did you do that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a free nickel situation. Now, the point I need to make clear is that it was a drunken slip-up. It meant nothing. Roger even points it out. It wasn't motivated by lust. They just had too much to drink, and they should just move past it. Granted, this is Roger, so I feel like even if he didn't mean to do it, it's still gonna look like he did mean to do it. Even if he does explain himself, nobody's gonna believe him. And this is Stan we're talking about. It's very possible he can and will become violent. Or worst of all, worse than beating the crap out of Roger, taking back his best friend necklace. I mean, killing Roger or beating the crap out of him is one thing, but taking his best friend necklace, that I can kind of get. But that would, like, be worse than stealing his soul. I mean, Stan is finally at a point where he'll publicly say he trusts Roger after all. Like, think of all the crap this dude has put him under. I mean, he almost tried to blow up the world just because Stan told him not to take the last of something. And now he's like, yay, you're my best friend. Like, imagine him taking all of that away. So rather than just come clean, Roger decides to bury Francine alive so that way he can buy time to think of a sob story that Stan will believe. Because clearly Franny ain't gonna just tell Stan that Roger buried her alive afterwards, and Stan will believe his best friend over his own wife.
I got your food. Sun-fresh chips, right? And a sandwich. Did you get it?
Oh, well, she can die, but at least she'll have food. Honestly, though, this also freaks me out, too. What is with this episode freaking me out? Like, honestly, being buried alive is, like, one of my worst fears, because how do you possibly escape that? And plus, you can't just do the Kill Bill thing, because Mythbusters says that doesn't actually work. So, what story did Roger come up with? That Francine cheated on Stan. What? What a homewrecker! And here I thought you just wanted to be Stan's best buddy, not his other kind of buddy.
Well, you admit it. You kissed Roger.
What? No! He kissed me!
Lie.
I've been trying to tell you all day!
I mean, it sucks that Roger basically destroyed a family and a marriage and a home, but hey, at least he didn't lie to Stan. But at least Stan believes him and he's still his best buddy.
Which means no more attic for you.
Beg pardon?
I mean, where will you live? This affects everyone.
Whoa, what's this? Is the sidewall cracking?
Wait a minute. You mean that if you two divorce, that Roger will have to move out and actually have to pay for rent and food and utilities like the rest of us mere mortals? You mean this whole scenario will affect him? What the heck, dude? I cannot stand for this. Roger, bury Stan alive too. It's only fair.
Because I was the one who kissed Francine. But it didn't mean anything. It was just a drunken slip-up.
Damn it, Roger, get me the hell out of here!
Roger is such a freaking coward. Thankfully, he gets what's coming to him since when Stan gets freed, he beats up Roger and then takes back his necklace and gives it to Francine, this time turning it into jewelry.
They're beautiful, Stan.
So whenever Francine wears it, Roger can remember his shame. And honestly, even if the show won't admit it, I think this episode is pretty important too. I mean, it's pretty funny, but it's also important for the development of these two. Since for once, Stan again let himself be vulnerable and allowed himself to tell Roger what he meant to him. Heck, he did it in a super public manner where everybody could see it considering the necklaces. But then Roger had to go and betray his trust, so what exactly was he to do? And you guys all know how Stan is when he becomes vulnerable. It's something he doesn't like to do, because whenever he does, he just gets made fun of. Like, if you notice after this episode, while Stan is a bit more willing to be vulnerable around Roger or tell him off, like in Return of the Bling where he spends the first half of the episode kissing up to him.
Sorry again about the whole cheek thing. I didn't mean to.
Nonsense! You just gave me another hole for your glory to shine through.
Well, he doesn't always provide praise unless push comes to shove. Like in Cops and Roger, while Stan is the one who basically encourages Roger to become a cop, Stan only says how he truly feels, i.e. Roger lost his way, and now he's disappointed in Roger when push came to shove.
You were a good man, and I believe you still can be. Sometimes real strength is having power and choosing not to use it.
But it was in a very good, constructive manner that actually got Roger to listen to him and stop being a dirty cop. Heck, Roger himself only joined the police academy because he felt disappointed that Stan was, you know, disappointed in him for not protecting Francine from the robbers. You Dead Your Life is another example of this. One night, Roger is drunk and asks for a ride home, so Stan goes to pick him up. But as Roger is reenacting that one Jodie Foster movie, he runs out into the street and nearly gets hit by a truck. But I think it's funny how he's like,
I did it perfectly.
Like, dude, you have time to run! Let's go! Plus, you also have super speed, so this should literally be a non-issue. But Stan does save Roger's life, and as you'll recall, the whole reason Roger supposedly lives with Stan and the basis for their friendship is a life debt.
Wow, Dad, you saved Roger's life? Oh, I guess you guys are even now.
Even?
Yeah, you know, the life debt.
Oh,
yeah,
what?
it's true.
Well, wait, didn't Stan repay it like 10 times over? I mean, you just showed off a spaceman kitty, where Stan outright saves Roger's life. Yes, that's the point. Honestly, Roger has become such a member of the family and so close to Stan that life debt or no life debt, Stan couldn't picture him not being there. So even if he drives him crazy, he'll let him stay around. Heck, he even says later he outright forgot the life debt was even a thing until Haley brought it up. And not like, haha, now we get to kick out Roger. No, Haley just said it as a joke. But because Stan is the type where he needs to save face, he decides to kick out Roger, saying the life debt has been paid.
Nope, it's the life debt. It's always been the life debt, and now it's repaid. I don't owe you squat!
Stan.
No, it's true. He doesn't.
Plus, while it sucks, Stan and Roger are close enough that I could see them still being friends, even if they don't live under the same roof. And Roger has like a trillion personas to fall back on. But yeah, now he's living with a roommate, but I could see him doing that to mess with the Smiths, like, oh, poor me, now I have to sleep with a roommate. Or maybe he's trying to replace Stan with somebody else, but obviously not everybody is Stan and they won't put up with his BS. And kinda like Roger, Stan is hurting so badly that he tries replacing his best buddy with
another fey, pansexual, alcoholic, non-human.
Me? Wait, no, I'm not Pan. It's Andy, last name.
Bouncing, vodka Andy.
Can't talk about him anymore, but honestly, I saw none of his work but Lion King 2. But he was also in that one episode of King of the Hill, when he played the biker guy who, like, shaved his legs. And I hear, in real life, most of the rumors they say about him were true, so take that as you will. But Stan hates living with Andy, last name, who, believe it or not, is voiced by Nick Kroll, pre-Sausage Party and pre-Big Mouth, since unlike Roger, it's not cute and charming, it's obnoxious in the worst possible way. But he won't admit he made a mistake, so Roger tries to do it for him by resurrecting the life debt, aka having Stan be mauled by zoo animals and then driving him halfway across the country in order to get a special sal from Area 51 in his fanny pack that will save his life.
Damn it, Roger, take him to a hospital!
Franny, we've been over this. I can't take Stan to a hospital because then a doctor would save him.
I know it's a bit of overkill, but considering what Stan did to this dude throughout the episode, I am honestly siding with him. At Area 51, Stan ends up having to save the both of them by reenacting the scenario that originally got them into this mess. Roger is upset because this means there is no more life debt, but Stan assures him that he is part of the family.
I didn't even remember the life debt until Haley brought it up. I just didn't want to admit that I Like having you around.
Plus, you are both united in a deep-seething hatred of Andy last name. Finally, let's take a look at Julia Rogers, where Roger tries to make Stan a special wine for Francine. But when it involves a tornado, well, Stan is a little hesitant to say he would also save Roger in such circumstance.
Couldn't help but notice you took a little pause there. Would you do this for me?
No. No, probably not.
Ow!
OMG, dude. Roger is upset, so he goes into the tornado to live a new life, as Julia, where she is the new girl in town and the envy of all others. And she has a new job selling a store of dried flowers. I guess so long as you're happy. However, throughout all of it, Roger does try to tell Stan where he is. That way, Stan can come find him. Like, yeah, part of it was likely born out of jealousy, but I do think it was sweet. He was like,
a dried flower shop. No one on Earth would ever come in here.
This is my shop.
What? Well, this is the first place they'll look.
I wanted you to see it.
Like, honestly, I would do the same thing. But Stan ends up saving Roger, and they go back home, their friendship intact. So, Stan and Roger are definitely best buddies. I like how they developed it. We've been through this, summarizing the ending, blah, 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 blah. So there's that. Anyhow, bye.